Thanks for staying with us. So the COVID-19 pandemic has taught, or better still, opened the eyes of majority of people to insure their properties, health, and every other thing that is dear to them. Our guest will enlighten us on the importance of insurance. Joining us on the show is Executive Director, Tangerine Life Limited, Ibitunde Balogun. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning. Yes, I am here.
Good to have you, Mr. Balogun. Now, so insurance is something many people around the world you have, because obviously for their properties, their lives, things that are close to them. But in Nigeria, not everybody has completely embraced the importance of insurance. Could you let us start from the basics? Why do we need to insure, and how affordable is insurance in Nigeria today?
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for having me. So insurance, it's why we need to insure is because basically, things happen, right? And when things happen, you don't want to be running around trying to figure out what you do. So if, for instance, you have a car and, you get into an accident, you didn't plan to spend any money fixing your car, right? If you have insurance, that is taken care of. If, for instance, you lose a loved one, and you have to start running around trying to figure out how you're going to bury the person, funeral expenses and things. With insurance, that headache is taken away. So you insure to protect yourself from unforeseen circumstances, basically.
Okay, yes. I think one of the reasons Nigerians are not so they haven't quite embraced insurance, because we hear from those who do have insurance about how cumbersome it can be to get the claims, or you think you have insured something and then natural disaster happens and you say, well, it didn't actually cover that. So that's why all that money you've been paying is not for this particular kind of disaster that you've just experienced. Could you please enlighten us on that?
I think in 2020, right, insurance has been quite simplified, especially if you look at more innovative companies, right? So it's really clear what is covered and what is not covered. So in the past, yes, I think there was a lot of bureaucracy in terms of how claims were administered. But today, it's pretty straightforward. Even from the comfort of your home, you can get a policy, you can pay weekly, you can pay monthly, and all the claims processes and everything can be done from the comfort of your home. So I think it's largely an education problem that the consumers have not really understood this new wave of insurance, rather than the process that has happened in the past where people had a hard time trying to get their claims.
Okay, so in insurance, we know that you either you get a policy against a particular occurrence or incidents in future and protect yourself. We're in COVID times now, and we know that how do you bring the COVID test ordinarily, that is about, if you want to do it privately now, over 50,000, into an insurance already existing? Is it possible? What are the adjustments that the bodies are making to help the people with the present pandemic?
Okay, so typically pandemics are not things that are covered under insurance policies, because it's not, like you said, there's so many nuances to getting the COVID test. And if you start to try to develop a product for the test as it's on its own, it might be quite difficult. But what we have done at Tangerine Life is that we've covered COVID and critical illness as part of our Term Life and Term Life Plus products. And if you are covered under the umbrella of the insurance product, but then if you happen to get COVID, you are also covered. So it's not just from the testing elements, right? It's also from the fact that, okay, if you get COVID and you are not able to work for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you will get a payout from the insurance company to say, look, this is a critical illness, you're not able to function, you have to be quarantined, and you get a payout. So for the test itself, it's kind of like anti-selection if you just try to cover the test alone, because who determines who goes for the test? But then once you are able to prove that, look, you actually had COVID, then the insurance kicks in, and you are able to benefit from the payout.
Okay, so there are many insurance policies and many insurance packages that can be very confusing for individuals. But what would you advise are the key areas every family should get insurance coverage on? At what age would you advise life insurance? Or just give us in a nutshell, what are the core things you should cover yourself concerning?
So I think the core thing you should cover yourself concerning is life, right? And I say that because that's really the only thing that is certain out of every other insurance policy. You might get car insurance, but I've had car insurance now for the past 10 years, and I've never claimed on it because it has just never happened. So it's possible to actually have a car insurance for your whole life and never have an incident. But one thing that is certain is death, because we know that death and taxes are the things that are certain. So I think the most important is life insurance. And I think, as soon as you're able to be a dependent, or to have people that depend on you, you need to get life insurance. So it can be as early as 18 when you have younger siblings, your family that are looking up to you to either send them pocket money, or you're a young man that just got married at 25 and you have a wife, and you're going to start having children. You need to have life insurance, because if anything happens to you, your family is going to be left with nothing. And burials are also very expensive. So, for me, as early as 18.
Let's stay on life insurance a bit, Mr. Balogun, because a lot of people are interested in this issue of life insurance. You're right. That is the one thing that we know is definitely certain. But what are the various types of benefits the families get? Because when we hear life insurance, we think, oh, they just give you money for the burial, pretty much. That's what many people think. But is it beyond that? And what are the numbers looking at based on what you offer?
Okay, so for life insurance, there are a couple. There's the group life insurance that is, for employees within an organization, which is minimum of 3 times the annual income of that person. So if somebody earns 10 million naira per annum, the family will get 30 million naira if the person dies while working in that company. That's for the group life scheme. You also have the whole life schemes, and individuals can set the sum assured, and sum assured are basically the amounts that you will be paid if there's a claim. So that's really dependent on you. You can say, look, if I die, I want my family to have 100 million naira. And then we will then calculate how much that is going to cost you on a monthly basis for you to pay. So yeah, it's really dependent on you. But for the group life scheme for your employer, I'm sure your company has this. It'll be 3 times, minimum of 3 times. Some companies do 5 times what you earn a year. So
Right.
if you earn 20 million, you get 60 million. Your family gets 60 million.
Right. Okay.
So I wanted to ask you still on this life insurance, because I had an uncle that was doing it consistently for a while, lost his job and couldn't continue, and the money just went poof. Like if you contribute for 10 years and you suddenly can't contribute again and you didn't die, what happens to the money you've contributed for 10 years?
So typically you should be able to get that back. There are so many different types of policies, and I would confess that there's some insurance companies that are not so transparent, in the way these policies are administered. So there are some policies that have a lapse period. So once you lapse, they take a chunk of the money. But that's where the education comes in, and that's where choosing a good insurer comes in. Doing your research and making sure that I understand this policy, I understand what I'm contributing towards. And once there's a claim, or once I'm not able to, continue to contribute, the penalty is not high, the penalty is not steep. So different companies have different methods, right? It's not one method across all companies. So I would say that you need to be, very, very detailed in your assessment, and try to read up on insurance, try to understand the policy, try to understand what you're getting into before you actually take up the policy.
Right. Okay, one of the major problems we had during the lockdown was that a lot of people had to stay off work. And so during that time, they didn't earn any money. And many employers couldn't pay anything because they were not making money. Looking back now, with what has happened, what sort of advice would you give employees and employers so that in times like this, what sort of insurance packages should they have that would cover periods like this?
Okay, so there's a policy called the retrenchment cover, which is not very popular, right, in this part of the world because of the uncertainty. But it's a policy that can take care of this type of situation. So it essentially pays out when you lose your job. So if you have bought that loss of job cover, you've lost your job, it will probably pay you out 6 months to 12 months of income before you are able to continue to, get another job and continue working. So it's a retrenchment rider cover would be something that, is advised. And I know that since the pandemic hit, a lot of companies have started developing that product, to make sure that it's available and that people can actually then purchase the policy.
So you back to the topmost question. Is there a body that regulates the activities of insurance operators in Nigeria such that, you could make a report on behalf of our uncle, for instance, and they would ensure that the right thing is done? Or they are even in the business of informing people of certain rights that they have aside, getting legal redress?
Correct. There's the NICOM, which is National Insurance Commission, which has a hotline and website. And there you can also then, report insurance companies that have failed to pay out. But I think the first step would be truly trying to understand the policy. So you can also engage the services of an insurance broker who can help you interpret and understand the policy. When you then understand the policy and you know that you have a case to make, you can then go to the regulator and say, look, this is what happened, and this company has refused to pay. And most times the regulator makes sure that the insurance company pays.
Okay, Mr. Balogun, let's talk about health insurance for a moment. There are lots of people that go to the hospitals, they can't afford the medical bills. They're having issues with getting insurance coverage, especially when they're not even having a proper blue-collar job. They're business owners and entrepreneurs. How do those kind of people, are there packages for entrepreneurs, people who are self-employed, I would say, that can, or just business owners who are trying to have coverage for their family, or market women? Because many of these guys go to the hospitals and they're unable to pay their high medical bills.
Yes, so there are packages, there are micro health plans, and there are packages for entrepreneurs, for women, for young people. Like I said, it's all about trying to, do your research and try to find the best product that fits you. The insurance industry has not done a lot in terms of educating the general public. And this is something that we at Tangerine Life are trying to change. We are very aggressively trying to put out the message of what is available. But yeah, these products are available, but then again, you have to try to research and understand. There's the NHIS VC ship, right, which is just 12,000 naira per annum that will cover you from, for primary health care, which is 85% of most of the ailments that people have. So there are these policies that are available. There are also micro plans from different insurance companies that are available. But because of, again, the education is not where it should be, a lot of people don't know about these policies.
Okay, so there's something I see whenever I watch international insurance adverts, especially from South Africa. They tell you that if you don't claim your insurance after 5 years, you get a cash back. You get it. There's something they give you back, like they pay you back for not claiming it. So if I've been doing car insurance for the past 5 years, or like you said, if you do it for 10 years and you didn't claim, what are you people doing with my money? Shouldn't there be some incentive to encourage other people to do it by doing a payback to such people? We don't operate those kind of...
Don't we?
Are you looking towards...
Don't we?
We do have no claim bonuses, right? That's called a no claim bonus. So you're right. If you've been paying your insurance premium for 5 years, some companies even 2 years, and there's been no claim, right? They should be able to give you a cash back against your next premium, or even cash back into your account. So like I said, there are companies that are doing this as well in this market, but we just need to, make sure that we are continuing to engage to understand which companies are doing this and understand what best deals are available for us.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So we're still on the issue of insurance, and as I said, it's something that is not novel outside the country. Many people get everything insured, but here it's like a middle class thing and upper class. But the lower class are not really, they've not really embraced this issue of insurance, and it's important we bring them into that bracket. However, let me come to our guest, Mr. Balogun. Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Right. So, car insurance is something that many people just feel like, let me have the, what's that one? What's that regular one? Get the paper.
The 5K.
The 5K one. For them, that's basic. Could you tell us, why is there a need to actually get a comprehensive life insurance? Because people hardly get that comprehensive one.
Okay, so there's a need because the comprehensive actually covers you as the owner of the vehicle. If you get a third party, it only covers a third party, but it doesn't cover your vehicle. So if you get involved in an accident and you have third party, your insurance covers the car that you hit, but it doesn't cover your car. So you still have to pay out of pocket for your own repairs, which is the problem. So that's why it's important to get a comprehensive car insurance.
Okay, you know, earlier you had spoken, just as Maria said also, which is there's a huge percentage of Nigerians that's sort of not covered in the educating the awareness and the sensitization about insurance. And for countries abroad, maybe they have a larger percentage of people who are educated. We know in Nigeria it's not the case. Is it because insurance is more profitable to do with people of a certain class than the majority of Nigerians who are not in that class?
So that's actually, yeah, that's not the case. Insurance is actually profitable with people of, you know, the mass market, because insurance is a product of numbers. The more numbers you have, you know, the better. So if you are dealing with a small pool of middle class to upper class, you're actually shooting yourself in the foot, because the large numbers and the large profits exist in the mass market. So the incentive is definitely for insurance companies to create products for the wider population and not just for the middle class.
Okay, let me ask this on, general practitioner, insurance practitioners, generally you people in this group of business. Why is it that there's a gender imbalance? Because you see, when you have to market, you have more women, but in the real business of advice, assessment, actual science, you now have men. Is there
Sexist imbalance?
Imbalance. Why is it like that? It's your people that's the source that's on the main road.
Okay, so I don't think there is a huge imbalance, but if you know what you see most of the time is obviously the salespeople. So and a lot of the jobs, if you look at in most insurance companies, the salespeople are the highest number of people, because that is what pays the bills, that is what brings in the revenue. And we're talking about the education problem, whereby people need to be educated. So you have a lot of people who are doing sales, both men and women, but for the back end, so some company, I mean, if you look at the actuaries in Nigeria, there are probably less than 50 actuaries, qualified actuaries in the whole country. So it's not something that there are a lot of people that are doing this service. It's more that, in a company that has one actuary, they probably have 30 salespeople. So I think that is the reason for that.
Okay.
But I think,
Right.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you concerning when we've all discussed our personal experiences with this issue, and I realized that when we're drawing claims, when we want to get our claims, if there's a delay, how do we process? Should we involve a lawyer if we feel like you've paid for your comprehensive insurance for your car and you get hit and they are giving you the roundabout? What can that person do?
That person needs to basically file the first complaint with the company, stating their claims. Okay. And to be honest, I think most insurance companies today are quite responsible in responding to claims. Claims issues are not the way they were, a few years ago. But then basically, after that, you then have to then report to the regulator, or you can vote with your feet. You can then choose to leave that underwriter and go to another insurance company.
Right.
That is going to treat you better.
Okay, unfortunately, we have to wrap up. Thank you so much, Mr. Ibitunde Balogun, for joining us this morning. Appreciate your thoughts on insurance. We've been speaking with the Executive Director, Tangerine Life Insurance Limited, Mr. Ibitunde Balogun. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
You can watch Your View on TVC every Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Nigerian time on DSTV channel 418, GOTV channel 27 and channel 47, StarTimes channel 121 and channel 307, Play TV channel 801 and channel 190, UHF 49, Sky channel 515 for UK viewers. Watch live on Facebook at TVC Connect and on our website tvcentertainment.tv/livestream.